Well, here I am again making another video on my recovery. I'm documenting my recovery process from narcissistic abuse and growing up with a narcissistic parent and borderline parent. It's been a really rough few days since I started videotaping myself. But something very healing happens in the process. I think it's finding my voice, instead of just not sharing about a lot of things. Anyway, I just wanted to share where I'm at. My previous videos, I went over all the different issues that I personally am struggling with to heal, because recovering from narcissistic abuse isn't fitting inside one cute little box. It's so many different issues. And of course, I've driven myself a little nuts trying to work on so many different things, and I really need to simplify that. But my routine, and I say it just to help myself, my routine has been to get up and get to the gym. I got to do that as soon as possible, otherwise my motivation goes out the window. So getting the gym in, come back from the gym, usually have breakfast, and then I start the affirmations. I write down my affirmations. I weighed myself today, and I'm a little bit heavier than I thought, which is no big deal. Maybe about 10 pounds heavier. I'm not a heavy person, pretty fit. Look at that bicep. No, well, I can't. No, maybe it's not such a great bicep, but all right, I like my bicep. Anyway, so yeah, going to the gym and getting my affirmations done is a good start. And I'm dividing my recovery into, I think, about 4 stages of recovery. And I got this idea from reading books on recovery books, where the recovery process is divided into different stages. So anyway, I'm calling the stage I'm at like stage 0. Because I gained the weight, I realized I really need to put down overeating. That's a way to numb out. Even if I'm not carrying like excess weight, I'm pretty actually trim, pretty slim person. But I'm just carrying extra weight that doesn't it doesn't really hinder anything. Well, my clothes being a little bit tighter. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is I think any kind of tool addiction has to be put down first. So that's why I'm calling it stage 0. 0. Like just getting myself really clean, so to speak. Not abusing food, not being disorganized with my time, because I can really get kind of time drunk and like not really clear on my schedule, losing things. So I'm just trying to lay the foundations right now. So I've gotten help. Someone's helping me just. I know how to eat well. I know how to eat regularly, but it's the help that I'm getting is to pretty much make sure that I'm really doing what I say I'm going to do. And that's not easy. Today was a particularly rough day. I had a lot of shame attacks today. I got my taxes done, and I thought I made more money. I was hoping to make more money, and I think for some reason just seeing how my numbers was disappointing to me. And I think that's what triggered the shame. I'm not really sure. So anyway, stage 0. I'm working on getting rid of any addictions and keeping my routine in the morning. I also found it really important to work on, I feel like years ago I was diagnosed with dysthymia, which is kind of like a low-grade depression. It means like you can function fine, you can do things, socialize, work, or whatever, but there's always this kind of inner sadness, this inner grief. And that made a lot of sense, because there are lots of times where I would be in a wonderful place or have wonderful things happen and feel really grief-stricken, feel sad. Or just like shame has come up today. There would be times where sadness just was pretty overwhelming. It would get triggered by something. So anyway, I say that because my stage 0 is addressing dysthymia, addressing depression. And just in case, there's a disclaimer, I'm not suicidal or no thought about that. Just think of Sandra Bland. No. If I get stopped by the cops and something happens to me, this is proof that foul play, because I'm nowhere near suicidal or anything like that. Dysthymia is just a low-grade sadness, and I know where it's from. I know it's from just the trauma of growing up with a narcissistic parent who wasn't available and having to rely on food and other things to soothe and to comfort myself. Okay, so yes. So I also enrolled in a philosophy course here. Their philosophy courses around the world for free, or a very nominal fee. Some places it's actually free, and sometimes you can get it for pretty nominal fee. So it's philosophyworks.org, and I think it's international. I know they have some buildings and classes in Europe and in the States here. So I'm doing that. I'm also working with someone on just keeping my financial work balanced, making sure that I'm making enough, I'm earning enough, and so that I'm working on as well. All right, so I decided also to focus on, and just talking about this, I think I'm doing too much. But, it's so tough when you have these symptoms. Like today I'm going through shame. I'm like, okay, how do I work through the shame? And really I'm just trying to feel it. And I'm just trying to talk to my inner child. I feel sad even talking about it now. So one of the things I've learned about shame is that shame can be displaced. It can be something that a perpetrator puts on to another person, to someone they're abusing, because internally they are not connected to their own shame. They project it onto someone else. If they feel disgusting and bad about themselves, they'll see it in someone else. And so I'm learning about that. But something interesting happened today with shame with me, and that was, I put on a dress today, and I was riding a bicycle, and it was really cold out, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be cold out, so I had this little jacket on, and I didn't have on stockings, and I felt just like a little exposed riding a bicycle in a dress. It wasn't a short dress, but, it was just, I was just cold and feeling a little out there. So anyway, came back home, put on stockings, and put on a nice trench coat, and that immediately I had a different sense. I felt a little more, I want to say dignified in a way, a little more covered and secure. So I think what this brings up for me is, like, I don't have to do anything that causes shame for myself. Like, I can feel bad. I'm sweating, it's hot. I can feel bad about, bad about myself or bad about something I'm going through. But it needs to stop there. I need to always be mindful of my actions, and am I acting or doing anything that can produce shame? So there are little ways that I think that can happen. Not dressing properly, being cold, riding a bike, or like, can someone see my underwear while I'm riding this bicycle? Or, just little things like not getting things done on time or being late. I think these little ways of taking away from my own integrity. So anyway, I'm just trying to document my beginning recovery processes. Oh my gosh, something came up on my screen. All right, so here it is. So I'm working, I've been doing this work on the inner critic, and I feel like I have to do all these different things because these things come up in a day, and I'm very aware of it. The inner critic work is really interesting. there's a guy, Robert Firestone, who wrote a book called Combating Destructive Inner uh, Thinking. And he has a really effective way of working with inner critics or the inner voice. I think it's also called voice therapy, but not vocal therapy. It's voice, like the inner voices inside your head. So I've been doing some work on that, just kind of writing down the whole essence of his work is to, you write down the message that you're getting from this critic, and then you phrase it. You turn it around and you phrase it in a third person, and then you talk back to that voice. For me, it's saying, let's say, for example, if there's a thought that says, don't bother, it doesn't matter, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. That's one of the things, like, my little critic tries to devalue everything. So I would say then, oh, you think it's not worth it. Externalize it, third person. You think that me pursuing this particular hobby that I love is not worth it. Well, screw you. No. No, you would then say, talk back to that voice. I would say, well, what I really want to say is, leave me alone. Don't talk to me. I don't care what you think. This is my hobby. I enjoy it, and I deserve to have something that I enjoy for me. My phone's ringing. Oh, anyway. So I thought that was, doing that work really shrank down the critic. And I also think there's a guy, Pete Walker, has some really good stuff on emotional. Anyway, he has a chapter on criticism and the inner critic, and also it was like emotional flashbacks. That's what it is, emotional flashbacks. So he has a whole outline of how to deal with that. So I don't think I should tell everything tell what's in the book, because then I don't want to take any money away from the author, but it's good. It's good to know that there are ways to handle these kind of things maybe you were struggling with over your life. All right, so those are the things I'm doing. So I'll go over. I'm just addressing what is immediately messing me up in my life, and the dysthymia, the depression. And what I'm doing, I read a book. Well, actually, I didn't read the whole book. It's called the Depression Cure, and I'm following the steps in that book, and that is real. That's brought relief. Even if you go on Amazon, you can read a little bit about some of the tools you can do, and get the book. It's pretty good. It's a lot of work. That's one of the things that really stinks about, just being a survivor of trauma and narcissistic abuse. I'm just understanding that it's a lot of work. I've been working on it for a long time. So today was pretty good. I got to the gym. I didn't have a chance to do affirmations, but I was really consistent the last few days doing the affirmations, doing the reading my philosophy books, talking to a couple of people that are helping me out on with the food issues and the money issues, reading, and I'm tackling codependency, depression, the inner critic, and shame. I'll just do it in that nugget. I probably should narrow it to one, but I just don't know. I honestly don't know. So I'll give it a shot and see if I get overwhelmed doing all these different things. But I only do them because they come up for me. They just keep popping up like whack-a-mole. Get down one thing, and then boop, shame pops up. Get shame down, and then boop, grief pops up. Grief down, boop, the inner critic. Whack that down, then boop. This people-pleasing codependency stuff comes up. So I got work to do. But I'm doing the work. I'm feeling better, although today I just, I have been feeling better. But today, the taxes, I don't know, that kind of bummed me out. Oh, I know what it was also. It was like, I was just feeling lonely today. My eyes even look sad. I don't like the way my eyes look. I should put some makeup on. But anyway, all right. So anyway, that's all. I think I'm going to end here.